That's good eye contact. So basically, we just spent the last 20 minutes on the floor kind of talking about a number of different strategies and techniques that we can use to help Fred feel more comfortable. Now, I did not pick up Fred. Fred definitely did not jump up in my lap. What we did is I was sitting on the floor. Now, for a dog, front-facing is confrontational. Sideways, either right or left, is more approachable. And behind is defenseless. So I took a seat on the floor. I blocked Fred from being able to run away by using the leash here. And then I kind of orientated myself so he was behind me. As soon as I did that, I don't know if we did, I think we filmed that other one. He kind of came over and started sniffing me. So that's a good. We always want the dog to meet introductory or meet people through scent. Now, another activity that we can do is if I were to go over and pick up Fred, that creates a fright mode. He's going to definitely freak out and try to run away. So what I did is I had the guardian pick him up. Then I got up off the floor. I sat down, and she came over and put him on my lap. Is he licking his lips?
Not too much.
Okay. Licking the lips is a sign of stress. So again, I'm holding him, but I am not trying to pet him. Because again, that would be too much because he's still in an unbalanced state of mind. But the fact that he's turned around and not looking at me, now he doesn't really have much choice because he's literally on top of me. Now, usually having a dog on top of you can be a sign of dominance. In this case, I just want him to get used to contact. Now, this is advanced, and you can see his mouth open. He's stressed. Breathing heavy is a good sign of stress, and again, dilated pupils. So what I'd like to do when you have, again, if possible, have your guest meet you outside. Go for a little walk first. Guest brings the dog inside. If we can have the guests, if they're comfortable sitting on the floor, that would probably be even more helpful. And kind of orientate so the Fred is on their side or behind them. And orientate it so that, or make sure the guest isn't doing a lot of big movements or telling stories that are very loud. So if you have friends come over that are very loud and boisterous, they may not be the best person for this sort of thing. Then after they hang out a little bit, and we want to wait, the indicator for Fred is, does he sit and lie down? So when he sits, he's somewhat comfortable. When he lays down, that's good. He's smelling the other dogs I've worked with. When he lays down, he's as comfortable as he's going to get. Well, he's not as comfortable, but it's a pretty significant body mechanic. So after he's laid down and he's relaxed and he's kind of opened his mouth, and he's kind of looking around, he's not just like fixed and shuttered down and just still, then I would have you do the same thing. Tell the guest to wait there, pick Fred up, have the guest then get up slowly and sit down. Hey, Fred. Yeah. I can scratch him with a circular motion here, which is calming. And then pick up Fred and put him on their lap. But this should be a good 20 or 30 minutes into the visit so that he has the ability to do it, to process it and to relax. Now, if he's anxious or he starts licking his lips a lot, then that might be a little bit too soon for him. Now, I know how to use body language and to keep him feeling a little bit more comfortable and less confrontational. Again, remember, don't have your guests give him direct eye contact because that seems to be a lot for him to deal with. But this gives him a chance. He can't run away. So now he's starting to kind of check me out a little bit. And that's what we want. Now, if your guest has dogs at home, if they can pick up the dog, have it on their lap, that way when he's here, he's going to kind of smell their dogs a little bit more, which will help that scent kind of, oh, he knows one of us. So that can kind of help him feel a little bit more comfortable. Now he's adjusting. I think he wants to get down. But again, I'm not going to allow him. There we go. So now he's kind of laying in my lap. Awesome. So this, again, I'm not trying to pet him, but this is a technique called flooding. We're forcing him to deal with it, but we're not doing it too much for him to process. Again, if I were to talk really loud or move around a lot, that would just be way too much. So when he's on somebody's lap like this, they need to be very soft, speak in a nice, consistent, lower tone of voice. Be better if they're just more listening. We can talk. It's fine to talk, but just nothing that's going to be jarring or getting him too upset. But the fact that he lays his chin down is another really big indicator, and he just did something that I really like, which is just like us, when we kind of change our state, we kind of have a deep exhale. He just gave me one of those. So that kind of is like, I'm resigned. I understand that I'm going to be here. This guy doesn't seem to be doing anything. I don't particularly like it, but nothing bad is happening. Now, as this happens over and over and over again, he's relaxing his rear quarters now. Or maybe he's trying to get down. There we go, more relaxed. So he's going to learn to become more relaxed with people. And eventually, when he is, when he's kind of sniffing them and kind of looking at them, he's not panicked, then they can start petting him. But I would probably recommend it's going to be at least 1 or 2 visits before anybody actually does any petting. But we want to try to get him maybe to sit on the lap for about 5 minutes the first time. And if he gets into a nice zone like this, then we can sit here for a half an hour. But if the person needs to get up or starts, if they have cough or something that's going to cause him to get up and start shaking his head around, then we'd rather let him go and do his thing and move away. Now, the thing about it is we want to give a dog a recovery period. This is extraordinarily stressful for him. He's going to be exhausted after this session. This is going to be a lot shorter session than I normally do because I don't want to overwhelm him too much. But just simply, I'm guessing this is like the most contact he's had with a stranger since that Halloween incident. And again, he's not completely relaxed, but he is much more relaxed than we started. So again, it's going to be a lot of little things like this, but tell your guests to be cognizant. Do they hear that or feel? I didn't hear it, but I felt the big exhale. And if you notice the way I'm holding him, I've got one hand here, my right hand with my fingertips are on his chest. Can't really see because his head is down. And I've got my left hand kind of across, so he's going to be across one of your thighs. So this allows me to have contact with my forearm, and I can feel that exhale in his breathing rate. And this also helps me prevent him from engaging in his flight mode. I'm sorry, Fred, I'll stop moving around quite so much. So that's a little video about how we can help Fred learn to trust being around other people again by having the people basically hold him and not do anything else.